Hey Bullets YouTube channel.
Hurry up, now tell us why you're here.
Here are the racers of the 2015 Piston Cup season, where it appears that not much has changed other than some cars have retired. Matt Carl will be retiring at the end of the season. Lane Locke's backup racer. Trevor Blolane is now in the number 6, and Jay Corner, who has failed to qualify at the New York 400 multiple times, will be retiring at the end of the season. Same with Leo Carnell and Jack Blindspot. I wonder if they'll qualify for a race in their final season. Speedson Larson has a new look, and Jason Overdrive will also be retiring at the end of the season. And Greg People has a new sponsor, Cheez-It. Ricky Speedhouse Jr. also has a new look, and Roy Energizer will be retiring at the end of the season. Same with Joey Oil Changer. David Raycar is substituting for Kyle Buschtire, who is at the moment suspended. Ronnie Carson will also be retiring at the end of the season. Same with Todd Lagasse. Wow, a lot of cars are retiring this season. Wyatt Drisker and Michael Fenderbender are all retiring at the end of the season. Jamarcus Cakart, if you saw, has a new look. Bobby Carboni is now the number 32. Will Gas Hood will be primarily racing in the 4th division. And Shane Geargas will also be retiring at the end of the season. There are quite a lot of cars retiring at the end of the season, and Landon Carsell is still racing part-time. Kurt Buschtire also has a new look, but he is suspended as of right now. And Adam Fuelspin will also be retiring at the end of the season. And Hank Weathers is also racing part-time now. Dan Revtire, Matt Virulent, and Colleen Axler will all be retiring at the end of the season. And this season has just one rookie, and that is Arthur Carstro. Buck Windshields will also be retiring at the end of the season, and Lucas Nitro Racing will primarily race in the 3rd division this season. Same with Peter Cornfield, but in the 2nd division. Will Draftrev is still around, and here are some more racers, with even more of them retiring at the end of the season. One of them being Owen Wheeler, who is only racing part-time, and Johnny Spinner will be coming back to the Piston Cup for one season. Pitbull Speed Racer has a new look, and Trevor Turnrev joins Ace Arrowhead Racing. Eon Evenair and Brick Hicks will also both be retiring at the end of the season. And here are some more racers. Not much has changed over here, and Ryan Rodages and Eli Goldengas. Oh, and Ryan Revster will not be racing in the Piston Cup very much this season. Billy Carjoy has a new look, in a gray car now. And Aiden Shiftwright is still a backup racer. And Mike Parker, Sam Shifter, and Edwin Burnout. Oh, and Grayson Radiator and Billy Steer will all be retiring at the end of the season. Same with Carl Throttleman. And Ace Arrowhead has the highest number out of all the racers this season once again, with the number 832. And both David Rudikar and Ryan Carex will not be racing in the Piston Cup anymore. Brick Yardley will start at pole position for the 2015 Florida 500. And to his outside, Lightning McQueen, looking for his 4th Florida 500 win. Dale Earnhardt Jr. will start on the inside of row 2, with Jimmy Cables to his outside. Row 3 has the mean yellow and red car, Joey Laguna and Carl Edwards starting to his outside. Row 4 has Tony Gasswort and Greg People with his new look on the outside of row 4. Row 5 has Clint Bolcar and Martin Carrix Jr., who are both hoping to have a good race this race. Row 6 has Kevin Carvick, the 2007 Florida 500 winner, and Cal Weathers, the defending champion. Row 7 has Casey Corner with a new look and Bobby Swift to his outside. Row 8 has Jamie McCarry and Phil Tankson, who is hopefully going to wreck a mean car this race. Row 9 has the Garrison Racing teammates Jamarcus Cakart and Sebastian Silva to his outside. Row 10 has Speedy Comet, who surprisingly qualified for this race, and Brick Hicks to his outside. Row 11 has James Garrison, the owner of Garrison Motorsports himself, and the Rocket Ryan Newcar. Row 12 has Billy Carjoy, another racer from Garrison Motorsports, and Rex Revler to his outside. Row 13 has yet another Garrison Motorsports racer, Chip Gearings, and Reb Meeker to his outside. Row 14 has Maury Clutchburn and David Raycar, who is subbing in for the mean yellow car. Row 15 has Kyle Carson and T.G. Castlenut, who is hoping to finish this race. Row 16 has Ricky Speedhouse Jr. and Eric Carmarola. I wonder if they'll do anything this race. Row 17 has the 2-time Florida 500 winner, Michael Cartrip, and one-time Florida 500 winner, Matt Karzith. Row 18 has Pitbull Speed Racer taking part in his second Florida 500, and Todd Marcus to his outside. Row 19 has Jack DePost and Doug Throttleman, the jumper, to his outside. Row 20 has Bad Brad Kozlowski and AJ Carmendinger to his outside. Row 21 has Cal Williams making his first Florida 500 start, and Denny Carlin to his outside. And starting in 43rd is Ernie Gearson, the oldest Piston Cup racer at the moment. And how did all of these cars, among some others, fail to qualify for this race? Brick Yardley would lead the first lap of the 2015 Florida 500, but later in the lap, he would lose the lead to Lightning McQueen, who would lead all the way until lap 14, where he'd lose the lead to Brick Yardley, who would lead all the way until lap 45. But Brad Kozlowski would be 17th as of lap 45, where he wrecks Tony Gasworth and Phil Tankson. Why? Joey Logierno would take the lead after the restart and leave for 6 laps before he'd lose the lead to Brick Yardley, who would lead for 30 more laps before Cal Weathers would take the lead for himself, leading the field all the way until lap 86, where Carl Edwards would take the lead. He would lead for 2 laps before losing the lead to his new teammate, Denny Carlin, who would lead for 3 laps before he'd lose the lead to Brick Yardley, who would lead all the way until lap 104. But on lap 104, James Garrison would fail to wreck Joey Logierno, and then Lightning McQueen would take the lead. He would lead for 4 more laps before losing the lead to AJ Carmendinger, who would take the lead on lap 108. But later that lap, Brick Yardley would retake the lead, leading for 3 more laps before he'd lose the lead to Denny Carlin, who would lead for 2 more laps before losing the lead to Joey Logierno, who would take the lead on lap 113. But later that lap, Dale Earnhardt Jr. would take the lead for himself, leading all the way until lap 145 before losing the lead to Jimmy Cables, who would lead for just 2 laps before Joey Logierno would retake the lead. He would lead all the way until lap 153, where Greg People would take the lead for himself, leading the field all the way until lap 155, where Jamarcus Capehart would take the lead. He would lead the field until lap 156, but later that lap, Joey Logierno would retake the lead. He would lead for 2 more laps before Lightning McQueen would retake the lead, leading all the way until lap 165. But Pitbull Speed Racer would be 26th as of lap 160, where he wrecked Brad Kozlowski, probably for wrecking Phil Tankson. Carl Edwards would take the lead on lap 165 and lead for 2 laps before Cal Weathers would take the lead once again. He would lead all the way until lap 168, where Lightning McQueen would retake the lead. He would lead for 12 more laps, but on lap 175, Speedy Comet would be out because of a hard crash. On lap 180, Joey Logierno would retake the lead and lead for 2 laps before Lightning McQueen would retake the lead, leading for 4 more laps before Cal Weathers would retake the lead, leading for 2 more laps before he lost the lead to Martin Carx Jr. on lap 188. He would only lead for a few yards because Kevin Carvick would take the lead for himself, leading for about 5 yards before Billy Carjoy would take the lead for himself later in lap 188. But Denny Carlin would push Billy Carjoy on lap 188 and then take the lead for himself and lead all the way until lap 190, where Brick Yardley would retake the lead, leading all the way until lap 191, where Joey Logierno would push Brick Yardley on lap 191 and then take the lead for himself and lead for 20 laps before Cal Weathers would take the lead once again, leading all the way until lap 218, where Lightning McQueen would retake the lead, leading until lap 223, where Jimmy Cables would take the lead for himself. Jimmy Cables would lead for 2 laps before losing the lead to James Garrison, who would lead for just 2 laps before losing the lead to Rex Revler, who would only lead for about 5 yards before Lightning McQueen would retake the lead, leading for 6 more laps before David Raycar would take the lead on lap 231 and lead for 2 laps, and then Joey Logierno would fail to wreck David Raycar on lap 232. And then Andrew Axler says this, probably because he thought Joey Logierno thought it was Kyle Busch-Tire. Joey Logierno took the lead on lap 232 and would lead until lap 240. And Joey Logierno said this to Andrew Axler after he presumed that he was confused. And Cal Weathers would take the lead on lap 240, but TG Castlenut would take the lead on lap 242, leading for 10 yards before Cal Weathers would retake the lead, leading for 6 more laps before Brick Yardley would take the lead once again, leading all the way until lap 254, where Joey Logierno would push Brick Yardley on lap 254 and then take the lead for himself for 3 laps, because on lap 257, Bobby Swift would take the lead, and he would lead all the way until lap 263, where Lightning McQueen would take the lead once again, leading for 6 more laps before Clint Bokar would take the lead off of pit cycles. But after the pit stops were done, Joey Logierno would take the lead, leading the field into lap 270, but later that lap, James Garrison would push the mean yellow and red car, and then James Garrison would take the lead for himself on lap 270, but later that lap, he would lose the lead to Jamarcus Cakart, his teammate, who would lead the field into lap 271, where Cal Weathers would take the lead once again, leading for 4 more laps before Joey Logierno would take the lead once again, leading for 2 more laps before Lightning McQueen would take the lead once again, leading for 3 laps. But on lap 280, Bobby Swift would take the lead, and he would lead for 4 laps before Brick Yardley would take the lead once again on lap 284. His lead was short-lived because Joey Logierno would be second as of lap 284, where he wrecked Reb Meeker, Ryan Newcar, and Brick Yardley, who would not be out. Lightning McQueen would take the lead after the restart and lead all the way until lap 314, where Joey Logierno would take the lead once again. But 3 laps later, Carl Edwards would take the lead, leading until lap 324, where he lose the lead to Doug Throttleman, who would take the lead off of pit cycles. And he didn't jump, but later in lap 324, Dale Earnhardt Jr. would retake the lead, leading for 4 more laps before Lightning McQueen would take the lead once again, leading for 4 more laps before losing the lead to Dale Earnhardt Jr., who would lead all the way until lap 337, where Lightning McQueen would retake the lead once again, leading until lap 341, where Joey Logierno would take the lead. He would lead for 2 laps, but then Sebastian Silva would push the mean yellow and red car on lap 343, and then he would take the lead for himself, leading for 2 laps before losing the lead on lap 345 to Bobby Swift, who would lead for 4 more laps before Lightning McQueen would take the lead once again, leading for 10 more laps. But Joey Logierno would push Lightning McQueen and Brick Yardley on lap 359 before taking the lead once again, leading all the way until lap 386, where Denny Carlin would fail to wreck Joey Logierno, and then Cal Weathers would take the lead on lap 386, leading for 3 more laps before Jimmy Cables would take the lead for himself, leading until lap 392, where Joey Logierno would take the lead once again, leading until lap 409, where Bobby Swift would retake the lead. He would lead for 4 more laps before Joey Logierno would take the lead once again for 4 laps. And then Jamarcus Cakart would push Joey Logierno on lap 416 and then take the lead for himself, leading the field all the way until lap 422, where Lightning McQueen would retake the lead once again, leading for 6 more laps before Denny Carlin would take the lead once again, leading all the way until lap 429, where Lightning McQueen would take the lead once again. He would lead for about 15 yards before Joey Logierno would take the lead again. But on lap 448, Lightning McQueen would retake the lead, leading all the way until lap 482, where Joey Logierno would take the lead once again, leading all the way until the final lap. Denny Carlin would be 10th as of lap 497, where he wrecked Chip Gearings. Why? And then Brick Yardley would take the lead on the final lap, and Joey Logierno would be 2nd as of the final lap, where he wrecked Kyle Carson, Matt Karzith, and Ernie Gearson. Why? The mean yellow and red car also wrecked Brick Yardley and Bobby Swift, but they were not out. Piston Cup fans began to boo the mean yellow and red car, and Ernie Gearson's crew chief said this I do agree with him. Ernie Gearson barely finishes any races anymore. Why wasn't he allowed to finish this one? And then, after wrecking Brick Yardley, Joey Logierno would take the lead once again and go on to win the 2015 Florida 500, which would lead many Piston Cup fans to boo the mean yellow-red car. Kevin Harvick would finish second this race. Dale Earnhardt Jr. finished third, Denny Carlin fourth, Lightning McQueen fifth, Cal Weathers sixth, Clint Bokar seventh, Martin Carrix Jr. 8th, Casey Corner 9th, and James Garrison rounding out the top 10. Brick Yardley would be the last car to finish on the lead lap, finishing 33rd this race. And I already mentioned the top 10, who earned the amount of points that you can see on the right side of the screen. But who was the unlucky car who finished 11th? Greg People is that car. Billy Carjoy who finished 12th. Jamarcus Cakehart 13th, Jimmy Cables 14th, Eric Carmarola 15th, Todd Marcus 16th, David Raycar would finish 17th, Sebastian Silva, Pitbull Speed Racer, and AJ Carmendinger would round out the top 20. Cal Williams will finish 21st and earn exactly 100 points. Rex Revler, Carl Edwards, Maury Clutchburn, Britt Hicks rounding out the top 25, and surprisingly, Michael Cartrip did not lead a single lap. Jamie McCarry and Doug Throttleman finished 27th and 28th. Ricky Speedhouse Jr. and TG Castlenut would round out the top 30. Bobby Swift and Brick Yardley finished so far back because they were wrecked on the final lap. They were lucky to finish the race, as all of these cars that are currently on screen were unable to finish the 2015 Florida 500.
Remember to press the notifications button, which goes ring, ring, ring after you press it. And lightning strikes back, and that's as if you subscribed, of course. And thank you for watching this entire video.
Why did the mean yellow car, Joey Logierno, have to win the 2015 Florida 500? When one mean yellow car suspended, the other one wins the race. Why? Let's hope that the Busch Tire brothers, when they return, will stop being bad cars. I mean, they did get suspended for doing bad things. Hopefully, when they come back to the track, they are better cars. The next part of the 2015 Piston Cup season, the video covering races 2 to 12, will be coming out soon enough. Unfortunately, the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine is still going on. The Ukrainian people just wanted to live in peace and have freedom, but this common dream was ruined by the tyrant and bully Vladimir Putin. Why did you have to start this war? Isn't Russia the biggest country in the world? Why would you need to make Russia even bigger? Currently, Putin's tyranny rules over Crimea, the Donbass, and parts of the Kharkiv, Zaporizhia, and Kherson Oblasts of Ukraine. This land all totaling to around 1/5 of Ukraine's land area. And every day it gets harder for Ukraine to win because they're running out of soldiers to fight the war. We here at the KA Bullets Piston Cup YouTube channel stand with Ukraine's struggle against Vladimir Putin's tyranny. Slava Ukrainie! Heroyam slava! Nechai Shvitsya Darovetsia Ukrainie permoha!